Hey y'all, this past Sunday, our More Than Words series brought us face to face with one of the most challenging moments in church history, the rise of Nazi Germany and the church's response, summed up in the bold witness of the Barmen Declaration. We started with an unsettling image of a sanctuary twisted by Nazi symbols, steeple bells inscribed with the name of Hitler, Bibles with the Old Testament cut out of it, communion tables decorated with swastikas, and hymns that were used to drown out the cries of those sent to death camps. It's history at its most raw and its most real. But it's also a warning, a reminder of how easily faith can be co-opted by power when the church loses its way. Back then, most churches in Germany chose silence or even complicity, but not everyone. In 1934, a group of courageous pastors and theologians, people like Dietrich Bonhoeffer, Martin Niemöller, and Karl Barth, stood up and said no. They wrote the Barmen Declaration, declaring to the world that the church belongs to Jesus Christ alone, not to any nation or political leader. They said there are no areas of life outside of Christ's authority, no room for other lords. They said the church cannot change its message just to fit the times or to please those in power. And finally, the state should never become the sole ruler of human life or try to take the place of the church. This wasn't just a theological debate. Their resistance came at great cost. Barth was exiled, Niemöller was sent to a concentration camp, Bonhoeffer was executed. Their witness reminds us that the gospel sometimes demands real courage and even sacrifice. And as we looked around today, we had to admit there's that same temptation to merge faith and power, to silence dissent or to exclude others for the sake of some national agenda is still alive and well. Christian nationalism tries to claim that to be a true American is to be a certain kind of Christian, and that God's will can be identified with the nation's will. That's the same false doctrine that the Barmen Declaration condemned. So what does this mean for us in 2025? Well, the Barmen Declaration calls us to a higher loyalty. Our faith is not a weapon. Our allegiance isn't to any flag or party, but to the kingdom of God, a kingdom that is marked by justice and compassion, grace and love. So this week, I'd invite you to name your loyalty. Reflect on the places that require your allegiance. Is it to Christ? Or is it something else that is creeping in, like politics or comfort or the approval of others? Name it. Pray about it and ask God to help you live out the gospel with clarity and with courage. Second, you're invited to speak up. If you see someone twisting faith to justify hate, exclusion, or violence, do not stay silent. With courage, firmly speak the truth in love. This could be a conversation, a letter to a representative, or simply refusing to join in when others distort the gospel for their own purposes. So may we be people who, like the confessors at Barmen, refuse to let the church become a tool of oppression. May we honor Christ above all and live a faith that is more than words. This coming Sunday, we travel to South Africa and visit another painful part of the church's history as we explore the Confession of Belhar. We'll see you Sunday.